So hi everyone, now let's get started with the strings in Python. So a string is a homogeneous, immutable sequence in a Python and it is a built-in data type also. And we have already seen strings as a built-in data type in our basic syntax in Python video. So if you are not aware about the basics about a string and their syntax, then please check that video out and video link I have given in this video description or in the video resources. In this video, we will look at a string as a sequence. So and in our last video, which was about list in Python, we have understood that what is a sequence. So sequence is anything or any object in Python where indexing applies. So if a indexing will apply on any object in Python, that means all of these operations will run on that particular object and that object will be an iterable. If any object will be an iterable, that means we can run a for loop on that and all of these built-in functions will be applicable on that object, and as well as this len function will also be applicable on that particular data structure. As in Python, we have these four important data structures and len function is applicable on all of these four data structures. So now let's look at the strings as a code. So first let me do one thing. First let me create a list and then we will see a list sequence and a string sequence and we will understand the difference in between them. So first let me write this apple and the items in a list is separated by a comma. So comma, then write the next item, write another item, then write down one more list inside in this list and write down the last item. So let's say the last item is application. So this is our list. Now let's create a string object and assign it to a variable istr. So and here we are creating a doc string, and with these doc strings we can write down any multi-line strings, and if there is any single quotes or double quotes in between those doc strings, so those single quotes and double quotes will be the item of that particular string. So now the other important part what we need to understand over here, whenever we say the a item in a list, that means this apple is a item over here in this list, this a is a item over here, this b is a item, like this list is a item of this I list. Same way this application is an item of this I list. But in a string sequence, all the characters are item of this string, unlike this apple and like over here. So items does not separated in a string with a comma or anything. So all the characters are item of this string. So items start from this opening square bracket, then this single quote, then this uppercase letter A. So all are these characters are the item of this string object, and all the items in a string object will be the string data type only, because string is a homogeneous sequence unlike list, as list is a heterogeneous sequence. So any valid object could be a item of a list. So now let's do one thing. Let's run a for loop on both of these items. First let me print it out, this I list. So I list, and let me print it out this string also, print istr. Yeah, for now it is looking almost exactly same, but let's see what will happen when we will run the for loop on both of these objects, as they are both sequences, and we know that if a object is a sequence, that means that is a iterable, and we can run a for loop on any iterable. So for I in I list, and let's run the for loop. So, and what for loop does, or let me do one thing, let me run this for loop instead of this cell in a next cell. So in a list, all the items will be iterable. So we have printed out all item one by one in a next line. So so I'm gonna change the formatting of this output. So now I'm, instead of taking all the items in a new line, so they will be separated with a semicolon and with two spaces. Now this apple A, B, and this list and application are the item of this list. So same way, now let's run the for loop on this particular string. So let's say for I in I str, then print I, and same way change the formatting. For that and make it semicolon and then give two spaces. But do you see what has happened? These are the these are the items of a list, this apple AB. But as usual, as I told you, the items in this string are the each character. That's the reason we got this output when we ran the for loop on a string object, as every character is a item of this string ISTR. Now let's learn about one more important method, that is the index method. And what it does whenever we apply this method, index method. So let's apply that of talking. So let's say I want to know the index of this particular list 1 2 in this I list. So I can apply a index method. So index, and then write down that particular object inside in this, so it will return the index of that particular item. So if you will, let's say, apply this index, so you'll get that item, that list, because third is the index of this item. That's what we got from that index method. So that's the reason when we apply this indexing over here with these square brackets, we got that list. Now how it will be helpful with our string object. Now let's say I want to know what is the index of this 1, whereas because over here in this string object, this is not a list, but these are only different individual characters. So let's say I want to see the what is the index of this one. So again I can run a I str method, then dot index, and then write down that object. So it will give what's happening. Sorry, yeah. Do you know what's happened? Because this one is not a int over here, but because inside in a string all the items are strings, so we need to write a string one, not a integer one. So the index of this one is 18. So if you will apply this ISTR 18, you will get the 1 back. But now let's see few methods of this string object. So let's apply print dir and ISTR. So these are the majority of the methods which are associated with our string object. So for that we will learn in the next part. So all of the majority of the methods we will learn that, and we will see their utility, that what we can do. So thanks guys, and please like the video if you have learned something new, and please subscribe for more content. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.